Life doesn't always unfold the way we pray for. Sometimes the deepest wounds come from the ones we trust the most. This is the story of Alya, a wife, a mother, and a strong woman, whose love was tested through rain, tears, and a broken promise. A heartbreaking tale that will stir the conscience of anyone who hears it. The rain fell gently on their wedding day, yet not a single guest complained. A warm atmosphere enveloped the small courtyard, transformed into a venue for the solemnization. A simple tent adorned with plastic flowers and homemade decorations made by the neighbors. No luxurious dress, no expensive catering. But the smiles of the bride and groom were enough to make everything feel beautiful. Alya, a gentle village girl, was the eldest of 3 siblings. Her father had passed away when she was in high school. Her mother sold fritters at the morning market. Alya grew into a strong, patient, and religious woman. She never dreamed big. She only wanted to live happily with a man who could accept her and her family. And that man was Randy, a graduate of a private university in the city, a migrant from West Java working in Jakarta as an administrative staff at a construction company. They first met at a large Ramadan sermon when Randy was invited by a friend to stay in Alya's village. What drew him to her wasn't her looks, but her simplicity. "I admire how you respect your mother," Randy once said during their early meetings. Alya lowered her gaze. "She's been both a father and mother to us. I just want to make her happy." And that was what convinced Randy to propose to Alya, even though his savings were just enough for a modest ring and the wedding ceremony. That day, as the solemnization was spoken, Randy's voice trembled slightly. "I accept the marriage of Alya binti Haji Abdul Rahman, with the stated dowry in cash." Soft applause echoed among the guests, accompanying Alya's shy smile as she became Randy's lawful wife. She wore a simple white kabaya sewn by a neighbor. In her eyes, Randy was the first man she loved without hesitation. From that day forward, she vowed to be a faithful and devoted wife. Their home was small, just 2 rooms. 1 bedroom, a living room that doubled as a kitchen, and a bathroom at the back. But it was filled with prayers. Every dawn they performed prayer together. Alya never failed to prepare Randy's lunchbox, even in heavy rain. If he came home late, she would still wait at the dining table with her Quran. "You must be tired, Moss. Let me give you a massage," Alya would whisper almost every night. "I'm fine, yeah. You should rest. You cook, do the laundry, everything." And that night Randy kissed Alya's forehead. A kiss that warmed her heart all night long. They saved slowly. Alya sold homemade snacks through the neighborhood WhatsApp group. Occasionally, she taught children to recite Quran at the local prayer room. Every penny went into a tin savings box for their future. Until one day, Alya missed her period. She stared at the 2 red lines on the pregnancy test, eyes brimming with tears. "Moss, we're going to be parents," she whispered as Randy came home from work. Randy stood still. Then he embraced her tightly. He kissed her belly, as if speaking to the tiny soul growing inside. "Our child, we'll take care of them together, yeah. Raise them together." Alya cried tears of joy that night. She believed their marriage would only grow stronger. She didn't know. The love she nurtured patiently would soon be tested by betrayal from behind. But that night the sky bore witness. A husband and wife laughing together in their small home, with vast hopes in their hearts. The 3rd month of Alya's pregnancy. That morning rain drizzled lightly. Alya was in their tiny kitchen, slicing vegetables. Her slightly rounded belly twitched with life. She smiled to herself, rubbing her tummy. "My baby. When you're born you must love your father, okay? He's a good man. It's just, lately he's been so quiet. But I believe he still loves us." The warmth in their home had faded. Randy came home later and later, sometimes not at all. When asked, his answer was always the same. Overtime. Alya never doubted him. She still trusted. But her heart felt increasingly empty. One night, Randy came home nearly at 1 a.m. Alya opened the door, exhausted and sleepy. Moss, have some soup first. I'll warm it up. No need. I already ate out. Alya swallowed her words. She forced a smile, though it felt like a slap to the heart. Moss, have I done something wrong? You've changed lately. Randy glanced at her, then looked away. You're being too sensitive. Pregnant women are emotional, huh? Alya lowered her gaze. She didn't argue. Days passed. One afternoon, while folding laundry, Alya found something in Randy's shirt pocket, a receipt from a 5-star hotel restaurant. Dinner for 2. She stood there staring at it. Her hands trembled. Not because of the amount but because of the date and time. It was the night Randy claimed he had to work late. Her heart clenched. She tried to stay positive. Maybe it's work-related. But God seemed to want the truth revealed. A few days later, she accidentally saw a WhatsApp notification on Randy's phone left on the table. Darling, I already fitted the dress. You'll look great in a cream suit like our pre-wedding photos. From Nadia. Alya's world crumbled. Her hand went limp. Tears fell before she could stop them. The phone slipped from her hand, but she didn't care. Her breath was shaky. Her belly hurt. She walked to the bathroom, washed her face. But the pain didn't go away. That night, she sat alone in the dark, holding her stomach and whispering, "My baby. I'm sorry. I don't know what to do." Just then the front door opened. Randy came home, his face calm, guiltless. "Moss," her voice trembled. "Who is Nadia?" Randy froze. Just for a second. But it was enough. "Answer me, please," Alya insisted, even as tears streamed down. Randy sighed. His eyes cold. "Alya, don't make this difficult. I'm getting married again." Getting married? Alya's voice barely escaped. "Yes, and don't get involved. I'll still support you and the baby. But stay out of my personal life." "Baby. Not our baby." Alya nearly collapsed but held on to the wall. That day, Alya's love shattered. But her body stayed strong, for the life inside her that still needed protection, even as her heart broke into pieces. Weeks passed. Randy no longer slept at home. He came occasionally to drop off money. No words, just silence, his face unfamiliar, cold. Alya held on for the child she carried, for the thread of hope that grew thinner every day. Until one morning the world struck her again. While sweeping the floor, she found a gold envelope slipped under the door. Her hands shook as she opened it. Her breath caught as she read. Wedding invitation. Randy and Nadia. Date, Saturday, May 23rd. Venue, Grand Wijaya Hotel Ballroom, South Jakarta. Alya collapsed into a chair. That invitation pierced her heart like a knife. She locked the bedroom door and wept, clutching her swollen belly. "Moss, how could you? The day I'm preparing baby clothes, you're preparing your wedding suit." Her cries echoed in the tiny room. But no one answered. Just silence. And loneliness. A few days later, Alya stood in front of the mirror, wearing a plain brown dress and a black scarf. Her face was pale, but her eyes were firm. Her 7-month belly wrapped in a thin shawl. That day she had to go. She needed to see how a man who once swore eternal love could smile on stage with another woman while she carried his child. Saturday afternoon. Grand Wijaya Hotel. The ballroom was bustling. Soft music played. Guests in suits and dresses mingled. On the stage stood Randy and Nadia, smiling, shaking hands, receiving congratulations. Then suddenly the atmosphere shifted. Soft footsteps echoed in the hall. All eyes turned. A pregnant woman in simple clothes stood tall at the center. Her breath steady, her gaze piercing. She walked toward the stage. Randy froze. His face drained. Nadia panicked. Alya stood there and said calmly but sharply, "Moss, thank you. Today you taught me a lot. About love, pain, and how to stand when broken by someone I once called my imam." The room was silent. No one moved. She looked at Nadia and whispered, "I hope you're not treated the way I was. Because those who steal are often stolen from." Alya stepped back. No screaming. No chaos. But her presence was a storm in the middle of a celebration. She walked away, head held high, tears falling silently. Days later, Alya became the talk of the village. Some pitied her. Mocked. But she didn't care. She only had one wish, to deliver her baby safely. But God had other plans. That night heavy rain poured. Thunder roared across the city. Alya was washing clothes when her belly hardened painfully. A sharp pain stabbed her. Her breathing ragged. Tears streamed uncontrollably. Ya Allah, my baby. Please protect her. With the last of her strength, she called her neighbor Mrs. Lilies. She was rushed to the hospital. 8-month pregnant patient, heavy contractions, possible bleeding. A nurse shouted as they wheeled her in. Alya closed her eyes. Her breaths uneven. In her heart she recited verses. Prayers of strength. In the waiting room Mrs. Lilies called Randy. Over and over. No answer. She finally texted. Alya is critical. Permata Hospital. Come if you still have a heart. An hour passed. Finally, as a baby's cry echoed from the operating room, Randy arrived. Well-dressed, panicked, eyes filled with fear. The doctor emerged. The baby's safe. A girl. But the mother lost a lot of blood. We need your consent for further procedures. Randy signed with trembling hands. Moments later he was allowed in. Alya lay weak on the bed. Ill. But smiled faintly when she saw Randy. Moss, look our baby, she whispered. Randy approached. He looked at the tiny girl in the incubator. She's beautiful, Moss. Just like you. Alya reached out, gently squeezing his hand. Moss, I'm sorry. If I was never perfect. Randy broke. Tears rolled down his cheeks. Don't say that, yeah. You were an incredible mother. Alya smiled softly. Her breathing grew heavy. Take care of her, Moss, our daughter. Don't let her feel alone like I did. And then, the heart monitor beeped long. Flatline. Alya was gone, leaving a world that broke her. But with one priceless gift. A baby girl born from true love. Randy collapsed on the ICU floor, crying uncontrollably, holding Alya's lifeless body. Everything he chased, wealth, luxury, new love, suddenly meant nothing. All that remained was a regret. That time could never erase. Rain still poured as Alya was laid to rest. Only a handful of people came. No crowd of mourners. No beautiful flowers. Just red earth, whispered prayers, and a husband now weeping in grief over the grave of the woman he once neglected. Randy stood there for a long time, still wearing his wedding suit, now soaked through. In his arms, a tiny baby slept peacefully, unaware that she had just lost the only true protector she had in the world. Just before leaving the hospital, a nurse approached Randy and handed him a small envelope. This was found in Mrs. Alya's bag. She said, if anything happens, please give this to her husband. Randy stared at the envelope, his hands trembling. He sat on the wooden chair by the bedroom window and slowly opened it. Alya's handwriting was delicate, slightly shaky, but full of love. To Moss Randy, the father of my child. If you're reading this letter, then maybe I'm no longer in this world. Honestly, I never imagined our story would end like this. But I know that every meeting is written by Allah with an ending, and every love has its own time to be tested. Moss, I know I'm not a perfect wife, but I always tried to be the best for you. Even when I knew you were growing distant, I kept praying that Allah would protect your heart. But I also understand, not everything can be held on to forever. Moss, if one day our child asks where her mother is, tell her this. Your mother was a strong woman, one who chose to smile even with a broken heart, who stayed when everyone else left, who kept praying for your father even when she was hurt. Don't teach her to hate. Teach her to forgive. And please, Moss, make her happy. Don't repeat the same mistakes. I entrust her to you. The final gift from a love that was once so beautiful. Thank you for once making me happy. even if, in the end, I was the only one who kept loving. May Allah forgive me, and forgive you too. With love, Alya. The letter slipped from Randy's hand. He covered his face. His sobs broke free, not just from the pain of loss, but from the realization of how deeply he had betrayed a love so pure. In his arms, the baby whimpered softly. And for the first time, Randy felt a deep, unfamiliar fear. The fear of not being able to be the kind of parent her mother had been. The days after Alya's passing felt like a long punishment for Randy. The house that once echoed with warmth was now filled with silence. Every corner reminded him of Alya's soft smile, of the gentleness he had never truly cherished. In the living room, the baby clothes Alya had prepared still hung neatly. On a small table, a list of names she had written remained. Islamic baby girl names. Some were crossed out, and one name was circled in red. Hannah. Randy held the baby, Hannah, close to his chest. I promise, sweetheart. I will become the man your mother deserved from the very start. From that day on, Randy made a life-changing decision. To leave Nadia. No more parties, no more luxury. He sold his car, let go of the mansion, and moved into a small rented house near the Islamic boarding school, where he had first met Alya many years ago. Nadia was furious. You're choosing that baby over me? Randy bowed his head. I'm choosing my remorse, Nadia. Because I now know, no love was ever as sincere as the one I once threw away. Life wasn't easy for Randy. Waking up at night to change diapers, nursing Hannah through her fevers, learning to make formula milk he'd never touched before. But in the midst of hardship, he discovered a different kind of love. A selfless love. A love that made him cry when he saw his child smile in her sleep. Every night, Randy would sit by Hannah's small bed and gaze at a framed photo of Alya beside the lamp. Forgive me, love, but I promise I will make it right. Until my very last breath. One afternoon, when Hannah turned 1 year old, Randy was reading her a storybook before nap time. Suddenly, Hannah pointed to the photo of Alya and said in her baby voice, Mama. Randy froze. Tears spilled down his cheeks. Yes, darling. That's your mama. The one who loved you more than anything. He hugged Hannah tightly, as if trying to bind their hearts to the memories that would never fade. In silence, Randy made another promise. Not just as a father, but as a man who had finally realized that true love never leaves you. Unless you're the one who lets it go. 10 years passed. Hannah had grown into a bright and cheerful young girl. But for years, she had carried a quiet question in her heart. One calm afternoon, Randy sat on a bench in the park near their home. Hannah sat beside him, holding a worn envelope she had kept for years. Dad, what is this? She asked, handing him the envelope. Randy sighed, his eyes glistening. That's a letter from your mother, sweetheart. She wrote it before she left us. Hannah opened the letter slowly, her voice trembling as she read. To Moss Randy, the father of my child. If one day our child asks where her mother is, tell her. Your mother was a strong woman, who kept loving even when she was hurt. Hannah looked at her father, tears falling down her young cheeks. Dad, I know Mom really loved us. I want to be just like her. Strong and full of love. Randy squeezed her hand tightly. Yes, my dear. Your mother was incredible. And you will be too, because you have a heart full of love and courage. They sat together, letting the evening breeze carry away the remnants of sorrow and the promise of a new beginning. The story of Alya and Randy is a lesson of love, betrayal, and redemption. That in life, sometimes we must let go of those we love most, for a greater good. That even the deepest wounds can become the root of newfound strength. And most importantly, that true love never really disappears, even when separated by time and the world itself. May this story serve as a reminder to all of us, to always cherish love and honor the promises we make. Thank you for witnessing this story. May our hearts be granted sincerity, patience, and boundless love.